Yeah, how's it going? Today is 17th of July, Wednesday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the infrastructure projects and more importantly, perhaps cybersecurity overall, since some of those infrastructure projects can be taken down very easily, right? So we're gonna be taking a look at some of those initiatives, from what I understand, are happening within Baltic area. Perhaps there is a lot of attacks. It's something about was highlighted by friends in Germany that some of these companies are constantly undergoing cyber attacks. It can go up to 1,000 cyber attacks a month, so which is a lot, I would say. From there, we can progress to some of the infrastructure projects and or finish and or UK's interest and or changes in leadership and perhaps some of the changes when it comes to trade with Europe. So it's something that we're going to be taking a look at. I'll try to cover everything and see how much in the detail we can go. Perhaps maybe 15 to 20 minutes, I guess, since there's a lot of articles to read. New story: improved cyber resilience of frontline forces in Europe, enhancing allied cyber defense throughout multinational exercise Baltic Mule. I don't like the name, so perhaps entire operations will be carried out by our friends in the US. But other than that, we can. I haven't read this article, right? So let's read this article. A mule? I don't know. I don't know. Either way, let's read this article. But even yesterday, we were taking a look at bus services, right? And some of those initiatives, perhaps, where buses not necessarily would have drivers, and if not right now, perhaps in the future, and all these services can be taken down using different software. And that's how, just to put a different perspective of how cybersecurity would be important, if not right now, in the future, and some of those infrastructure projects, including no energy production, all those kind of things. But let's take a look at this article and let's try to understand what's happening. Exercise Baltic Mule was joint UK and or Poland-led exercise to reduce the cyber vulnerabilities of frontline military activity and ensure we can protect against future threats. The exercise helped to improve frontline units' ability to withstand cyber attacks and continue their missions even then facing sophisticated cyber attacks. International participants gathered in Poland for exercise, including from Canada, Estonia, Germany, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and UK and US. A clear demonstration of the strength of our international cyber partnerships. Coming back to finances, right? So UK, or not UK, Europe should consider this area software. So some of those companies in US have so much capital. Some of those businesses have massive teams. We're talking about tens of thousands of people to overlook this area because how this is how much those companies are making, and they can reinvest their capital in cybersecurity. If Europe do not have their own projects, as of now they don't, they're investing so much, but they don't have these kind of projects. That means they don't have teams, they don't have money, they not necessarily have expertise. And then our European partners end up working with US companies who giving very silly names to some of those initiatives that will be very important, if not right now, in the future. Exercise Baltic Mule was a first cyber mission assurance exercise to primarily focus on vulnerabilities with the forward land for forces in Eastern Europe. These multinational forces protect Baltic nations from aggression as well as train together to improve integrated amongst NATO allies. The exercise explore how we make sure military supply plans are secure. Military experts from all nations involved spent 3 days analyzing potential threats to supply lines and all communication systems, resulting in a comprehensive list of solutions and all advice to address threats. These threats, such as findings, will be instrumental in refining plans of the forward land forces and all providing recommendations to present the next Cyber Commander Forum in September. More important will be building these capabilities, right? And I would say focusing on the critical infrastructure, but they perhaps as of now they only focusing on the military forces, communications, all these kind of areas. But I would say they should have a long-term strategy, not necessary. These exercises perhaps is just a test of capabilities, right? But that's very surface level, right? Exercise Baltic played an important role in moving forward more cyber resilient forces as the cyber threats we face become increasingly sophisticated and frequent. Strategic Command will continue to work even more closely with NATO allies to defend against these threats. Exercises like Baltic Mule make sure that UK and allies are better equipped to protect current and or future military activities from cyber threats. If we would focus more on building businesses and those taxes can be reinvested and the know-how and opportunities would be built when it comes to training of experts and having capabilities and perhaps 10,000 professionals. Some of those governments do have it, some of those projects, all these kind of things. As of now, European friends are failing miserably. So since European friends are failing, so for whatever reasons they need assistance from overseas, right? With that being said, let's progress to the next article. Next press release, we can take a look at what would be very important. That would be how we protect and can our space in June 2024. The report was issued by July 2024 and covers the time period of 1st of June 2024 to 30th of June 2023. But either way, that's really important. I think we potentially take a look at space and all satellites, all this kind of infrastructure, right? So let's try to understand it since we're on a topic of cybersecurity. To do business, no, many people should consider taking a look at cybersecurity essentials within UK as a minimum level of requirement when it comes to your own business is something to consider, right? But let's take a look at this article and see what we can find. That the National Space Operations Center protects UK interests in space and Earth and works with international partners to ensure space remains safe, sustainable, and accessible to all. But let's take a look at it. I haven't read this article, so it might be important. Overall risk to UK interest in space and Earth from space-related threats, risks, and hazards were lower in June than May. However, re-entry and or space weather includes remains above average. All NSPOC warnings and or protection services functions are expected throughout the period. Yeah, I don't know what kind of breakdown they're going to be offering, since perhaps space and or traveling, going out of orbit, perhaps that will be a new norm for many businesses, and it's even commercial businesses compared to previously. There's only governments and a handful of governments who can do it, and more commercial businesses are entering into this markets, and perhaps it's been recognized by UK. Briefly, I'll touch on it. I will not necessarily would be covering entire article. Perhaps that will be of importance to many, but this information is available. We are monitoring 48 uncontrolled re-entries in June to protect UK and all UK's overseas territories, as well as supporting our international partners. This represents 40% fewer objects re-entering in Earth atmosphere in June than May. Okay, we go into a lot of detail, but not necessarily. So that would be perhaps where the thing's gonna be in the future, and cybersecurity and what kind of re-entries are they discussing within this article, right? But either way, let's progress to the next article. So I thought for my own interest, I will touch on it. So they do monitor weather patterns and a lot of information when it comes to space and all, perhaps even internet. People can have access to internet using satellites, all these kind of things, right? So it's more and more space related services that, if not right now, it's going to be available in the future. Let's progress. There was announcements of three large infrastructure projects. I had reviewed quite a few of those previously. Since there's a new government, there might be a little bit more of the push to make sure that those projects gonna have a green light, right? Well, let's take a look just at one, and that would give perspective when it comes to energy production within UK, which is as of now very very expensive compared to other regions, right? So let's try to understand this particular project, and we can stick within critical infrastructure projects and cyber security and how those projects can be protected, right? Seneca Energy Farm development consent decisions announced as Seneca Energy Farm application has been granted development consent by Secretary of State of Energy Security and Net Zero. We can take a look at. I don't know if perhaps there's a private company. As of now, I had a review within Southwest. I couldn't find that many projects. There was different projects, not necessarily energy production projects. So perhaps as of now, Southwest they're gonna be paying. There are some perhaps plans in the future. Some of those areas like Gloucestershire in the future, but not necessarily for solar farms. So let's take a look at this particular project, and there might be some of interest, right, information that we might be able to find. The project proposed the installation of solar photovoltaic generative panels and electrical battery storage technologies to and/or Sonica East and/or Sonica West and associated infrastructure for connecting our national grid, including an extension of the Burwell National Grid substation. The scheme will allow for the development of over 50 megawatts of renewable energy. The application was submitted to. Okay. So we're going a little bit more into detail about the process of approving the entire project, right? Following examination during which public. Okay. So that's a part of the process as well as this is the 82nd energy application out of 139 applications examined to date, as was again completed in the planning inspector with the station timescale and down in Planning Act 2008. I don't want to go too much into detail, but people who are interested, they can find more information. Are more interested perhaps in industry and UK's capabilities. So as of now, we're looking at a very small chunk, right? Since that would be potentially installation, right? But can UK manufacture those parts? The UK cannot manufacture. So now the UK should build these capabilities to manufacture these battery stations, or solar panels, all these kind of things. That should be of importance since UK don't have these kind of capabilities. At least they can grant permissions to build those. At least. Let's progress to the next article. And to finish today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at the UK's partnerships with potentially Europe. There's two articles that we're gonna read, and let's try to understand if there is gonna be any changes after the UK's new minister for EU relations visiting Brussels on Monday. UK's new minister of European Union relations. There's a name there, but as of now, I don't know this person. Perhaps let's see if we're gonna be focusing on the results. Can we have any results and our progression? Then it's great. We can delve deeper and try to understand this person. If there won't be any results, perhaps we can just move to other things. UK's new Minister for European Union Relations, there is a name there, will travel to Brussels today with the first face-to-face meeting with the EU Commission Executive Vice President. There's another name there, so perhaps they might need two people to have these kind of meetings, but either way, I'm referring to different initiatives, but either way, so perhaps it's the first meeting. It's always good. Let's see if there are any plans that they are looking to accomplish within the meeting. The meeting aims to get to set the ground for further discussions between UK and EU as UK seeks to reset relationships with the potentially entire community of EU partners and build closer cooperation to share issues. The meeting allows the positive introduction and call on no positive. It's never been negative. The minister was appointed by Prime Minister. Okay, delving deeper, there's a lot of names, as well as minister. There's a name there. Also accompanied with the Prime Minister for Foreign Secretary of NATO summit and Washington last week, meeting with European leaders including Germany, Poland, Sweden, and North Turkey alongside the PM. Germany, so we potentially take a look at expenditure, military expenditure. Germany, Poland, Sweden, and Turkey, one of the top expenditures when it comes to defense. So perhaps they're talking about business when taking a look at, no, there might be something with the cybersecurity as well. But either way, let's progress to the next article. New era for defense government launches root and all branch review of UK armed forces. I had taken a look at yesterday this particular part. I haven't read this article, but they're looking for inside person to do independent review. So this inside person, they perhaps should be looking at outside person to do this review. That's my own understanding coming into this. But either way, let's briefly take a look at this article and what kind of information we might be able to find. But there's a massive article. This is going to be way too long. The review has been commissioned by Prime Minister and will be overseen by Defense Secretary and all headed by. There's a name there. So very briefly, we won't be able to take a look at the entire article. A strategic defense review and ensure Britain is secure at home, strong abroad. So potentially, so there's a lot of risk, and perhaps some of those measures that they're looking to introduce, not necessarily as of now, been taken into account, right? What they're doing right now, most likely people do know it, and they were taking a look at the different processes and perhaps prolonged war, one of those, as well as perhaps improving number of personnel, all these kind of things, right? As well as, if anything, if there's a one thing they could focus on, that would be expenditure, where the money would go, and if they can reduce how much its operating capital that UK would be spending on its military. Just this factor, if they can take this onto account, would be great. It's it. It's it. This that's the main one, and from there progress in other areas, right? Review has been commissioned by the Prime Minister, will be overseen by the Defense Secretary of there's a name there, and now headed by there's another name there, but I think they are inside people, right? It's so the British review just the governments to be consults serving military veterans, MPs, and all parts in industry and academia. Anything, if I can, I would rather have my own opinion. I will keep it to myself. In particular, when we're taking a look at defense, if anything, it's just the payments. I know where the money would be spent, right? I like to stress this point. But other than that, UK can do things what they want with their money, right? Other than that, right? And or if they will decide to build a lot of ships, destroyers, all military equipment, all those kind of things, they can do it. Feel free to do it. Just very be cautious of the money, since other governments have way more resources, and you can need to optimize the little resources that they have in comparison to other governments, right? Deputy Prime Minister kickstart new devolution revolution to boost local power. What should be important is something that I have touched already. That would be solar panel farms. That would be a part of the process, as well as the most likely going to be taking a look at wind energy. But again, industry. UK should build their own industry. UK, I don't think they have, perhaps they have know-how and capabilities, all those kind of things. But instead of purchasing all of the hardware, they perhaps should consider manufacturing themselves as windmills and or solar panels. But either way, let's take a look at briefly, and there's gonna be one more article to read. Deputy Prime Minister, there's a name there, will pledge to kickstart new devolution revolution to transform more power out of. There's the government, but the government themselves not necessarily gonna do anything other than there's gonna be someone doing things, right? Deputy Prime Minister, there's a name there, will today, 16th of July, so that would be yesterday, pledged to kickstart new devolution revolution to transform more power out of potentially government, I guess, and into the hands of local people in her first letter to local leaders. There's a name there, will urge region without developed power to partner with the government to deliver the most ambitious program of devolution this country has ever seen. She will invite local leaders in devolution desserts. I don't know, but perhaps there's something there I don't understand. I don't understand what you're referring to. Those will local knowledge and or skin in the game to work together to take on power in areas like transport, adult education and skills, housing and planning, and employment support. These new agreements will mean local leaders can make decisions that benefit their communities better, with boosting economic growth and opportunity. Devolution is central to the government missions to boost economic growth, but only around half of the people in England currently benefiting from those agreements. These letters from Deputy Prime Minister make clear that the government door is open and all areas who want to take over devolution to the first time. The government committed to encourage more local authorities to come together and not take on new powers. It's good that they're doing something. But it's good. We can keep track of progress of these initiatives, and we can take a look at how these initiatives would be measured, as well as the progress, and if they're going to yield any results. So it's great. Either way, let's progress to the next article. Last article, and we're gonna finish on this particular article that I believe would be important. That would be UK open for business as trade secretary heads to G7. There's a name there. Will tell G7 counterparts in Italy. New global approach will allow UK business to open for economic growth over the next 10 years. Bullet points that we're going to be taking a look at within this article. That would be business and trade secretary, there's a name there, will use first international visit to G7 trade meetings in Italy to announce that the UK is open for business. It's a good attitude, but let's see what what you will be able to accomplish, right? There's a name there. Will say that a confident, outward-looking, future-facing UK is ready to play out part of the international stage as UK resets its relationships with the global allies, which is great. It's a good so far. It's reasonable. Well, let's progress. He will meet with the key counterparts to foster a closer, more mature relationships with our friends in the European Union and drive economic growth. Okay. Let's see. Let's give this man a chance. It's a good. Let's see what he can accomplish, right? The UK is back on the world stage and is open for business. I don't think UK was closed for business at any point. I don't think it was, but perhaps now they are interested in new partnerships, new agreements. And if I was to reach out to this person won't respond to any comments. If there's a form to fill in to this person who is saying it's open for business, who is the person who I can contact? If I were to contact this person, all these persons would reject any comments, everything. So this is why it's open for business. They're interested to hear and or to collect a lot of offers. So that's the point. They should be looking to collect a lot of offers, since a lot of businesses, for people who don't know historically, left UK. They left UK, and now they're saying, "Oh, we're interested for you to come back to UK." So it's kind of interesting, I guess, and see if perhaps this person can accomplish something, right? The new business and trade secretary, there's a name there, will tell meeting on the G7 ministers and all business today. On his first international visit to Rome, he will be within his role. He will tell counterparts in the G7 trade minister meetings in Italy that a new level-headed approach on the world stage will allow UK businesses to plan to sustain investment and economic growth over the next decade. In part of government's plan to create pro-business environment that will support innovation, investment, and high-quality jobs at home by resetting international relationships and tearing down uncertainty barriers to trade. It will also unleash the potential of great industries which make UK stand out on the world stage. Excellent research institutions, professional services, advanced manufacturing, and creative industries. So let's see. I wish there was contact information, right? So we can put this person to the test. If there was a way to reach out to this person, perhaps we can accomplish something. Otherwise, they might be looking to talk with someone, and there might be some promises. I think it costs a lot of money. So for business to leave the UK, it costs a lot, and now they're interested in bringing everything back. So I don't know, perhaps someone interested in doing it. Perhaps there might be a lot of opportunities, right? But either way, let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.